Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Honestly, I'm in a different position today. I just want to be doing the rounds in this apartment. So I want to be having different views of this apartment. Welcome to the channel. You are on Chats with Tea, and my name is Tessie. Thank you so much for coming. If you found your way to my channel, I'm so happy you're here. I wanted to quickly do a very quick review on Fair Play. This movie is crazy. Okay, this is a movie on Netflix. I don't know if any of you have watched this movie, but some of you probably would have. Definitely, it's really popular right now, and I'm seeing like it's even the number one. If any of you have watched this movie, and I'm sure a lot of you have, I think the main leads. I love the guy who is the main male character. I think his name is Elden Rich or something like that. He's the guy that played Han Solo. And then the female lead, Phoebe Divinier, I think that's her name. Honestly, her surname is very hard to pronounce. I don't really know her that well. Popular. She's not. I don't think she's a real like popular actress. But yes, these two leads were very good. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with their performance. This movie was stressful. This movie was extremely stressful and a very good deep dive into male ego and female success. Now, this movie had a lot of tension for me. It was basically about this couple who, they are in love, and they want to start their life together, but they're working at this very cutthroat hedge fund kind of environment. We're talking about investment banking, we're talking about trading, that kind of thing. And she gets the promotion that he was expecting, and all hell breaks loose. I mean, we're talking we're talking stabbings and cuttings with knives, and it was just crazy. The actual downward spiral of their relationship was so stressful. The entire time I was watching this movie, I was feeling anxiety. I was just thinking, oh my God, can I go through this? Can I go through with this? It is almost 2 hours of just pure stress and tension. And you're just thinking, why can't they just break up? Now, in this particular instance, I think both of them were at fault. Luke was obviously a lot more at fault than Emily was. So that's the name of the male lead, Luke, and then female lead was Emily. Luke was a lot more at fault than Emily was. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole movie and spoil it for you guys who haven't watched it. But essentially, Emily was better at her job than Luke was. And Luke automatically assumed that Emily only got the job because she got down on her knees and did sexual favors for her boss. When actually that wasn't the case. Emily was a Harvard graduate. She had a scholarship. She was writing articles for the Wall Street Journal at 17. She was incredibly smart. And he diminished all of her accomplishments because his male ego was bruised by the fact that she got offered the position instead of him. When actually his bosses never even liked him. He wasn't really good at the job. And they only hired him as a favor to one of their friends. They were even hoping that he would quit at some point. It was crazy. So this guy proceeds to make her life a living hell. Now, Emily did a couple of things that I didn't like. I don't think Emily was 100% innocent. Definitely, there's a scene in this movie where Emily pressurizes Luke for intercourse, and I really didn't like that. I didn't like what she did, where she pressurized him, because essentially, if a man had done that to a woman, there would be a huge outrage. And I didn't think it was right for her to pressurize him into intercourse when he obviously wasn't in the mood. He told her several times, I'm not in the mood. And she was like, we need to do this now. And I was thinking, this is wrong. You don't pressurize him into this when he's already not in the mood. And of course, it didn't work out, and then he got even more frustrated. So I felt like that was really wrong of her to do. There was something else that I didn't like that she did, but at the same time, I can overlook it because it would be expected of him as well if he'd gotten the job. She was coming home really late after going out with her boss, and she was coming home drunk and slumbering in drunk, like numerous nights. And he was really disgusted by this, Luke. He was really disgusted by this. But at the same time, if Luke had been given the job, he would be doing exactly the same thing that Emily was doing. He'd be coming home drunk after being invited out by his boss. He was just angry because she was the one doing that and not him. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that that action was really desirable, coming home drunk every night to your spouse or spouse to be, because these people were engaged. Can you imagine? These were engaged folks. Engaged folks. Guys, let me not even get started on the fact that he proposed to her in the toilet when she was on her period. This movie was crazy. He proposed to her in a toilet and the ring wasn't even in the box. I knew the man was trash when the ring wasn't even in the box and it fell out of his trouser pocket. I was thinking, oh my God, this is a mess. Like, no. But I find it really interesting halfway where he's just really desperate for promotion at this point. And, oh yeah, there's another thing she did that I didn't like, right? Another thing she did I didn't like was when she said, oh, I'll help you get a promotion if you, quote, eat me out. I hated that. If a guy had said that to a woman, oh my God, there would be outrage everywhere. So there were a couple of things that Emily did that were not right. But if we're talking about morality-wise, Emily comes out on top over Luke. Luke was a very weak man. Very weak, with extremely fragile ego, high ego, and low self-esteem. Now, I understand, which is, like I said, I've said that previously, it's a deadly combination in a man. High ego and low self-esteem is the worst combination a man can have. You will have no peace with such a man, especially if you make more money than him. And I've said this previously, a lot of men are very fragile when it comes to the ego, especially finance-wise, because money is power, and the more money you have, the more power you have. So in this dynamic, the guy started feeling like he had less power. However, he never really saw Emily as an equal or even as, a human being. She was always an accessory to him. He never really talked about her talents or her personal attributes. He was always just picking at her appearance, trying to make her believe that she was dressing too revealing in the office. And I really didn't like that. And you know what? It actually makes a lot of sense, his behaviors, because a lot of men are very fragile when it comes to finances. A lot of men are also, they still don't see women as having any kind of attributes outside of physical appearance. So when they see a woman that's smarter and more intelligent than they are at their job, that really hurts. Especially when it comes to subjects like mathematics or science, STEM subjects. You'll see this a lot. A lot of women complain in the STEM field that, they struggle a lot because they're undermined, because they're women in STEM. Maybe they're doing engineering. Guys, even the job offer that I turned down at the company that I was offered just recently, I was the only woman there. I was the only woman. Not only was I the only woman there, I was the only black woman. So like they had no other there was no white woman there was no Asian woman. It was just me. It was just me. I said, what? Hell, God have mercy. So let me get back to what I was saying. This movie, guys, this movie was nuts. You need to go and watch it if you haven't watched it. Do you know the thing I find the funniest, right? He was accusing her of getting down on her knees and doing sexual favors, and that was the only reason why she got the job. But in actual fact, he ends up being the one to literally get on his knees and start begging for a promotion now. Guys, this was hilarious. He was literally like, "You have become my god, and this company is my religion. Please, if you promote me to project manager, and the boss was just looking at him like, do you have no self-respect? And then the project manager that he's already promoted comes through the front door. This movie was crazy. It was. And what Luke didn't understand, and Luke suffers from this like many men do. A lot of men actually think that they're better at things than they actually are. And it's not true. Especially when it comes to business. There are many men who believe that they are good at business and they're not. They believe that they're good at numbers and they're not. And it hurts them when they actually see a woman that might actually be better at numbers. Now, in this case, I think overall, men are extremely good at business. But there are some men who believe that they are better than they are. And a lot of men actually aren't that good at what they think they're good at. And this was definitely the case in Luke's case. Luke wasn't good at his job. All the predictions he gave were wrong. He lost the company money. And when he tried to actively sabotage Emily, who was actually incredibly good at numbers, she ended up costing the company money. I think it was like $25 million she lost because of his fake wrong prediction. And this fragile ego that a lot of men suffer from. Oh my God, a lot of men suffer from fragile ego. This fragile ego that a lot of men are dealing with, it makes them feel like they're entitled to intelligence and that they're entitled to being the best just by virtue of them being men. And that's not true. That's not true. Completely 100% not true. Now, like I said, Emily wasn't innocent. There were certain things she did that I did not like. But when we're talking about moral-wise, she had the upper hand. The only thing I didn't like what she did at the end, but I understand why she did it. Because obviously this movie gets more and more and more crazy and violent until it just has, it just reaches a climax where they're both physically hurting each other at that point, when you're just thinking, oh my God, the two of you just need to be separated and you need to never speak to each other again. There needs to be like a restraining order between the two of you. It was really, really bad. It was really, really bad. And the craziest thing, right? When he ends up begging his boss for a job, he doesn't understand the projection he's been placing on his partner. He's been talking about his partner getting on her knees for sexual favors, but he ended up being the one on his knees begging his boss. He was the one actually physically on his knees. Meanwhile, he's been castigating his partner for being on her knees, proverbially, sorry. And, shall I say, hypothetically as well? But she wasn't. He just couldn't deal with the fact that she was better at him at her job than he was. There are many men like this who think they're great employees. There are many people like this even who think they're great employees, but they're just not that good at what they do. And I understand that it's hard, especially because with him, he was trying to force it. He was trying to force it so much. This man was not smart at all. She was even telling him, you can go to another firm, I'll get you an interview, but he couldn't stand the thought of his partner helping him in any way whatsoever. I was thinking, this is because you do not see her as a human being. If you did, you would accept help from your partner and understand that they're doing it because they love you and they know that you can be better elsewhere, that maybe this isn't the best environment for you. Now, guys, this hedge fund environment was extremely cutthroat. The boss was not a good person. I will admit he was not a good person at all. But he was consistent in his badness to everybody. It is an environment where everybody is on the chopping block. You are great and you're in your boss's books when you're making them money, and the moment you stop making them money, you are thrown away. There were so many people that were fired there, and they were all having mental breakdowns when they got fired. And to make things even, worse, the way people are treated over there, the toxic vibe because people are on edge all the time, always worried about making money for their boss and not being fired. So there's this very toxic, jokey kind of atmosphere in the office. And Emily does feel it. She's, so desperate to be one of the boys because she's so desperate to make sure that she fits in and she's not essentially pushed out and that she's respected. So I understand her dilemma there. But it was just really weird. And sorry, guys, I actually have a cold, so I'm sniffing. Apologies. But it was just really weird, how everyone in that office was treated like bad products. They were treated like plantain gone off. They were treated like really ripe bananas who are just like, like when you have ripe bananas and they're really delicious until they get really brown and then they look soggy and, unpleasant. That's how they were treated. They were really, really great and they were rewarded when things went well. And then when they stopped making money, they were just shifted away. And that is speaking to the very painful and real effect of capitalism. Capitalism doesn't treat you as a human being, it treats you as a product, and you're only as useful as what you can produce. And it was exactly what was going on in that movie. You were only as useful as the money you could make in the hedge fund. The minute you stopped making money, your ass was gone. Simple. Now, with Luke was an extremely weak and fragile man. He was extremely weak. And things went from bad to worse when he saw her paycheck. Oh my God, when he saw, because because she stopped listening to him and she started listening to herself and she made $500,000. And this man's eyes was like, and instead of him to be so happy and excited, because he should have been like, oh honey, we're in this together. I'm so proud of you. This man was scratching his head and getting angry and getting upset. And I was thinking, you really don't know what you have. This woman is beautiful and intelligent and smart. And instead of you to be happy that you're with such a person, you're angry at them, you're hating them. And many women are actually with men that hate them. Many women are with men that cannot stand to see them happy or succeed. And this is very sad. And it speaks to the very fragile nature of men and what men believe makes them men. There's a very fragile definition for what a lot of men believe makes them men. And this guy fell straight into that hole. He fell straight into that hole. Gosh. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, he ends up completely losing it. Oh my God, he starts watching these red pill videos. I think essentially what he was watching was almost like red pill. He starts watching these videos where, you learn how to manipulate people and twist the narrative to suit you. And then he starts trying to do that to his partner, trying to manipulate her and twist the narrative. And it's not working for him because why? He still hasn't realized that he's just not good at what he does. He needs to figure out what he's good at and then put his energy into that. And then anyway, towards the end, things have completely gone nuts. She still loves him for some crazy reason. And this is another problem that this is another thing I didn't like about her. The guy hates you. The guy cannot even perform sexually because you are making more money than him and you're still with him. Why? I didn't like this about Emily. Emily was smart. Emily should have been smarter. She should have left as soon as she realized that this relationship was dead as soon as you got the promotion. Just know that and know peace. The relationship was dead as soon as she got the promotion. Dead in the water because his ego would never allow her to make more money than him. And I really didn't like the fact that she kept trying to force herself to stay. I don't know what she was thinking. Now, Emily did have a very overbearing mother. Her mother was overbearing and had no boundaries. Her mother kept putting pressure on her about the engagement and all of that. And yeah, I didn't like her mother. Her mother was a problem, in my opinion. Her mother didn't know when to stop. Her mother didn't have healthy boundaries, and she didn't have healthy boundaries with her mother. So towards the end, He's completely exploded. He's humiliated her in the office, almost ruined her career. It was really strange, right? I thought to myself, this relationship is not going to work because, first of all, they were lying about their relationship, pretending that they didn't know each other, leaving the house and pretending they didn't know each other when they got to the office. Do you know how funny that is? Do you know how funny that is? So I knew that it wasn't going to work because when you can't be open about your relationship, it's really easy for things to wedge itself. It's really easy for things to wedge itself into your relationship because you can't be yourself. You can't be free and open with it. So yeah, towards the end, they have this weird engagement party where she smashes a bottle on his head, and I was thinking, this relationship is really done. Like, this relationship is old. It's expired. Like, this is like expired milk in the fridge. It needs to be thrown away. Like Kleenex, use once, throw away. It needs to be thrown away now. And then he goes into the toilet and then he essays her, trigger warning. And it's just like, she ends up with bruises all over her body. And I'm just thinking, this was so avoidable. This whole thing was so avoidable. People just need to know when to leave something. Just need to know when to leave something. Cut your losses. And not even just that. Not even just cut your losses. You need to be able to admit to yourself when someone isn't good for you any longer. And when someone isn't happy for you, you need to be able to admit that. You need to, even though it hurts. You see, Emily was too afraid to confront the reality that her partner, who she loved, hated her because he felt she should be beneath him, and he didn't like the fact that she got the promotion. Now, I think Emily made a mistake. She shouldn't have mentioned that he was in line for the promotion, first of all. That was wrong because she had no clue. She was an analyst just like him. She was not above. She just heard a rumor. And in an office like that, rumors are a dime a dozen. You don't need to tell anybody anything until it actually happens. Second of all, towards the end, where he's in her apartment after essaying her, and he's like, oh, I'm going to pack up and leave, and I'm going to open a business, and my parents are going to help me. I was thinking, this guy still cannot understand that he's not a good businessman. Like, he still can't get it into his head that he's not a good businessman. He doesn't have the talent he thinks he has. Whatever he thinks he's going to open, he's still going to drive it into the ground as well. Now, don't get me wrong. He wasn't treated with respect, but he also didn't present himself in a way that demanded respect. Nobody was treated with respect in the office. That was a consistent theme throughout the movie. But he took that into a way and really internalized it. So yeah, because even when she lost the company money, I quote, she was called a dumb fucking bitch. That's what she was called by her boss. I really hope I'm not going to get in trouble with the YouTube police for that. But yes. So essentially, this whole movie was just crazy. It was just really stressful. I honestly don't know how I got through this movie. I don't know how I got through this movie, guys. It was just too stressful. But it was really enjoyable, and there were definitely some things that I felt she did wrong. I did not think she was an innocent person completely innocent in this movie. No. There were definitely things she did wrong, but he was far worse. And he just completely lost his mind, and he revealed just how little he thought of Emily in the first place for him to immediately jump to, her doing sexual favors. Even though this lady, she seemed incredibly in love with him, he immediately jumped because his mind couldn't even imagine a reality where she would be able to earn that job off her own brain and merit. So yeah, it was sad. It was very, very sad. Now, definitely, I do think there was merit to some of what he was saying when he was like, you're a woman in the office and you're the only woman in the office. So at some point they've got to have a woman in the office, and you fit that bill for now. That was actually very interesting. What he said there was actually, I think it was correct. She was a woman in the office. She was a pretty woman. And, you know, she fit that dynamic that they were looking for so that they could have some sort of difference and some sort of diversity, I guess. But she can tell at some point she will be on the chopping block herself. At some point, she will probably be fired from that hedge fund because she's useful and she fits the quota until she doesn't. So he was right about that, but that was pretty much one of the only things he was right about. The guy was a nut job, a complete mess, who did not respect himself at all. And, you know, he really just needed to take a step back, stop watching the really weird videos that he was watching, because that honestly made him worse. I think it spiraled the madness in him times 100. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. The movie was really fun, and if you haven't watched it, you should definitely go and watch it because I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. So yeah, this movie, I liked it because it reminded me of a couple of experiences in my past with my ex. My ex was a really nice person, and I don't really like talking about my ex too much because obviously I'm in a fantastic place. I'm moved on. I'm happy with my baby G. And yeah, I'm in love and loved. But actually, it's very good to look at your previous relationships sometimes and learn from them so that you know what to do when you meet the right person for you. And I'm really fortunate that I've met the right person for me. But when I look back, my ex was very insecure. And he was like, you know, I don't like the fact that I can't do things the way you want me to do them, or the way I feel I should be able to do them for you. But one thing I would say is that even though he didn't feel he was up to the task, he was incredibly generous. He was incredibly generous. And, you know, even when he didn't have as much as he wanted, like, you know, times like Valentine's Day, he would go out and get me this really beautiful necklace, you know, and I could tell he'd spent a pretty penny on that. But it wasn't the money, it was the fact that he'd made the sacrifice that I really admired. So sometimes, even when a guy is insecure, he'll still go out of his way to show you that he cares, even if he doesn't feel he can match your standard. That is something to be admired. And that is something that Luke did not show in the movie. Luke was completely insecure. It's okay to be insecure, right? But it's not okay to allow your insecurity to eat you up and completely lose every sort of reasoning in your head whatsoever. And that's what Luke did. That's what Luke did. You know. So yeah, it was really a great movie. If you've not watched it, you should definitely go and watch it. Okay, guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I really want to go and finish watching a movie right now, and then I'm preparing to probably just go out maybe for a walk. It's a really nice and sunny day. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you should definitely comment down your opinions below on the movie. What you thought of it, if you've watched it before. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it and then come back to this video. Okay. I know you will. Okay, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm gonna leave it here and I will see you whenever it is I see you. Okay, bye everybody.